Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mace. I'm coming to you from small town Canada. Just a typical small town boy. Played hockey and all that stuff. Canadian good times. Skiing in the winter and playing hockey, and in the summertime at the lakes, fishing, having a good time, enjoying my peace. The peace of a small town. I did live in the city for a time, grew tired of it, and the interesting thing about all of the insanity going on in the world is that people will say things online in such an exaggerated and hyperbolic manner. And listen, stuff is bad, but people will often put like very apocalyptic takes, doomsday takes, like go outside for a walk and chill and just chill. It's not like, hopefully, even if it, you have a nuclear war, that's gonna suck, but there's not much you can do about it, is there? This video is about MAGA voters being furious how the world views Americans. That's interesting. That's real interesting. The perception of Americans has suffered with the actions of this president, hey? Never thought that would happen. He's just a totally good man with integrity. He's eloquent. He's just. He's honest. All of those things sound true.
I created a series on how the world views the U.S. It has been viewed over 100 million times, and I have hundreds of thousands of comments from people all over the world. So I'm uniquely qualified to comment on how the rest of the world sees people in the U.S. And to my fellow Americans, I'm going to hold your hand while I say this. We are not well-liked. We are downright hated by so many people in so many other countries. We are an active threat to the rest of the world. We elected a dangerous human being and put him in charge of things that affect people all around the globe. And just like many of us here in the US, they are suffering as a result, and they don't like it. We are actively hated by one of our biggest historical allies, Canada. So if you're an American and you find yourself traveling outside of the US, you better make it really clear that you are not a Trump or Elon.
So my better be putting a Canadian flag on your backpack. That's probably your best tactic, to be honest.
Parents and my sister went to Europe for about 3 weeks over the holidays, and they went to Barcelona, Portugal, Rome, Catania, and then in Sicily, where my grandfather's from. He's from this little town called Campobello. And so they went there, and they also went with my sister's fiance's mother and her boyfriend, who are from Colombia. And they, of course, in Colombia, they're like, what the hell is going on over there in the U.S.? But when they were traveling in Europe, people would, you obviously spark conversations with people. And when they were asking my parents, where are you from? They say the U.S., and people are just like, oh, like, what the hell is going on there? What's up with your president? And I was like, did anybody say anything positive? I mean, there's got to be some people out there. Like, no one that we interacted with. In fact, well, I know like my whole family, they're in Sicily. They're always like messaging my mom on WhatsApp, like, what's going on? Are you okay? But then they were in the little town that my family lives in. And this old man had come up, and he was barely could speak any English, but he had asked where they were from, and he was just like, Trump, like the way he said it. And my parents were like, no, we don't like him. And the guy was like, you could tell he was relieved, but he was just like, oh, yeah. So, that's the sentiment there in Europe. Obviously, I know couldn't ask everybody, but that was the main sentiment from a majority of the people that they talked to, which we know. I mean, I already freaking knew, but.
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes sense when Trump's, essentially his whole foreign policy strategy is to just bully and threaten and try to get what he wants. It's not necessarily the best tactic when you're dealing with your allies, people that you're supposed to be building honest and trustworthy relationships with, and have had pretty good relations, since the end of World War II. It's not the best to threat annexation of Canada, call our prime minister governor, and just continually, essentially, just insult Canadians. And Canadians are fine, but we're just not going to go to the U.S. We're going to not buy, at least do our best to not support this American administration. And that's the thing. Like, Trump is just a puppet, a figurehead for that movement, which has gained so much steam in the U.S., creeping towards fascism, because you have a country that voted in this man. So tens of millions of Americans voted in Trump. And his rhetoric is very much promoting ultra militarism, a very, very nationalistic brand of patriotism, which is fine. Like, patriotism, be a patriot for whatever country you're from. But his brand of nationalism, the anti-immigration sentiments, appealing to voters and classes that have had legitimate grievances in the past, but he's been able to kind of brainwash a lot of people to thinking that those immigrants are the problem. They are the reason that I can't pay my, like, whatever it is, right? They're gonna blame everybody else, the other, never looking inward. Need a Yoda quote right now.
It was just interesting to hear. I know that there is one country that definitely loves our president, though.
Russia?
Actually, my friend used to date someone that lived in Israel, and when he came here in
Israel.
2020, he couldn't go back home until he had the Make America Great Again red hat. And I was just like, what is the obsession? It's fucking weird. But yeah, and then she ended up moving there for him, and they're not even together. But yeah, so that's what's going on over there.
This is the first time I've been abroad since the election, and I've lost count of how many times I've gotten that look of awe and sympathy that I get when I tell people I'm from the States. In the past few weeks, I've been to the UK, I've been to Lithuania, I've been to Latvia, I've been to Estonia, I've been to Sweden, I've been to Norway, I've been to Finland, I've been to the Åland Islands, and everywhere I go, I get the look. I have never been ashamed of my country. Never been ashamed of my country. I served it for 16 years. And what I've had to do over here, after the 5th or 6th or 7th conversation, I had to tell them, I'm from Canada. I can't even claim.
Did you change your accent when you told people that you're Canadian? Doesn't sound like a very Canadian accent.
My own fucking country. This administration that's coming in has painted a target on our backs. I'll always love my country, but I fucking hate the cowards that are coming in to run it.
This is the cover of a magazine in Slovenia. It's talking about the attack on Venezuela, and you can see the
it's
clear
unprecedented
reference here. It's pretty obvious. I
Unilateral
want to say to those watching,
decision making.
I did not make this. This is how Europe views what's going on here right now. They see it. And I hate to say it, but they're kind of the experts in figuring that out, no? That's also got to be an old picture of him. Here, this is in the UK, at a bus stop. No matter how many countries you invade...
God! Woo!
you'll still be a
Savagery.
This word, and this word
I like that.
translates
I like
to
that.
being attracted to young women. I'll put it that way. On a bus stop.
I'll put it
right
that
there.
way.
There they are. Two little peas in a pod. And those are the two messages going through Europe right now. All of Europe believes that he's a PDF problem. Why are we still in denial? And if anybody gets in here, starts jibber-jabbering in my comments, well, I don't care. Shut up. Shut up. If you want to be a snowflake.
Trump said a long time ago that he'd brainwashed his voter base. You know, I could walk into the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I still wouldn't go to jail or whatever he said, right? Nobody's going to do a thing. And he's right. Like, time and time again, he's done abhorrent things over and over again that would ruin essentially any politician. Although political scandals seem to be less career-ending these days, I would say. But yeah, Trump's done innumerable and said so many horrible things. And, you know, he is Taco Trump. You know, he always chickens out on a lot of things. But he's still in control of the world's largest military arsenal. So,
because the MAGAs are the true snowflakes of the world, go somewhere else. We're not going to put up with that here. Until you're ready to leave your cult, then you can give me a call and we can work on getting you out of there. But until then, just scroll past, please. The big point I'm making is that those of us that think this, we are not alone. We're not alone. Because they're also seeing this around the world. We're not alone. We are right to be mad. We are right to be worried. So, let me know what you think about this. Again, Slovenia Magazine. And yeah, follow for more. I'll update you throughout the day. And remember, link in my bio for my Substack. I'll talk to you a little bit. Okay, I love you. Bye.
I'm a girl who's from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I recently just lived abroad for a year, and now I'm back.
Okay.
And let me just tell you guys, people are mean. I just learned how much people in different countries hate Americans and just have this fixed idea about us. They think that we're stupid. They think we're fat. They think that we drive big cars. They think we don't care about the environment. They just think that we don't know about any other place in the world. They think that
I heard no lies. Obviously, there's millions of good Americans, but there was some pretty funny spot-on stereotypes she was listing off.
we love having guns, we're okay with school shootings. It's actually insane because
You do love having guns.
350 million people living in the USA. There's a lot of us, okay? Most of us don't think that way. Most of us don't think the way that they think that we do. So I like to comment on the Dutch culture a lot because I lived there for a year. Of course, I will never know it like a true Dutch person, but I feel like I've at least been there and lived with Dutch people that I have at least some observations I've made that are accurate. But a lot of people have never even been to America and they see the craziest things. So I just want to say, if you're going to make a bold claim, like, at least know someone from America, go to the country.
I'm not convinced that she's a MAGA voter. I'm like, oh, okay, it's just...
The news also is really skewed.
It's not necessarily...
I just think that people...
They're not necessarily MAGA voters, of course. They're critical of Trump as well. Sorry, I had a brain fart.
are so bold.
Europeans are really not happy with the United States, but I do think that it's very, very important for us Americans to hear what people have to say about the United States.
So what's the perception over in Europe, like in England and the Netherlands, about travel to the U.S. right now? Do you feel like your friends and family feel comfortable traveling there?
No, nobody I know back in England or here would go to the US at the moment. Not with all the news we're getting of people being, refused entry and sent back to where they came from.
Wow.
No.
Wow. Oh my.
I mean, that's right. It is a pain to go to the U.S. Last time I was there, it was just going across the border, and I'm sure it's the same coming into Canada a lot of the times. I just think that people that work in those border agent jobs are purposefully just kind of dicks. I remember last time we went through, and I've had horrible experiences going both ways, like going to the States and coming back to Canada. But you have border agents standing around drinking coffee, laughing in a big circle while you're standing in a lineup that's like 20 people long, and it takes like 30 minutes to do one simple thing, and they just appear completely miserable. But yeah, the tourism to the States, the numbers bear this out, has been way, way down. I think it's something like 25, 30, 40% almost. Canadian travel is down at least 30%. So it does represent billions of dollars of lost tourism money.
God, that was so quick. That was instantaneous. Immediately, her reaction to this question. She didn't even have to think about it. She's like, no way. That right there tells me so much. That a lot of Europeans, like, completely have your mind made up about the United States. You don't even have to think about it. Like, you would not even consider traveling here. And she honestly named a couple of very legitimate reasons. Like, I get it.
So this message will be very tough for Americans, MAGA Republicans. This is going to be really hard for you.
It's because border agents were asking for people's social medias. So how dare you, if you're going to travel to the U.S., have said something negative about the president?
You to hear, because what you've been told is a lie. The United States of America is the most disrespected country in the entire world. And his name is Donald Trump.
Why Europeans hate Americans, according to Europeans. Before we get into it, this is just for fun. This topic came up in a European co-living that I was in, and I took notes, and they're too good not to share. I have more of these culture chats in the playlist, and feel free to follow if you're interested. Let's get into it. Number 1, label their jokes. They always have to say I'm joking. British people would not do this. This is very true. I think we as Americans are extremely afraid of offending people. I definitely do this. Guilty. Number 2, they think America is the center of the world, and they were all weird know-it-alls about pretty much every subject. They said a lot of Americans always seem to center the conversation around the United States and bring every topic back to the United States. That a lot of Americans seem to fail to recognize that there's crazy cultural differences and that not everything applies to the Western point of view. Number 3, they are overly obsessed with identity and labeling things. Conversations, they'll always say things like, I have ADHD, I'm neurodivergent, and an American is much more likely to talk about identity politics and bring up their identity and how they identify themselves in a way that a lot of Europeans really wouldn't. Number 4, too fanatical about everything. From football to firearms, we have an opinion about everything and we are going to share it. And lastly, I am so guilty of this. Everything is way too hype. I had a friend sit me down and he said, listen, you have had the best meal of your life 3 times in the past 2 weeks. Sometimes things can just be good. Sometimes they can be fine, but not everything is amazing. I feel like Americans are the golden retrievers of the world. I find that they tend to be really like peppy and passionate.
It's the American dream, man. It's the rat race. Anybody can do it. Pull up your bootstraps. Become a capitalist.
And really hyping everything up.
And
so
maybe one day you can be a millionaire.
Comments, and if you have anything more to add, we know the geography one, so let's just move past that.
Hi, my guys.
You're not going to be a billionaire.
Welcome back again. If you're turning in, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share, and turn on the bell notification. And that's where you upload a new video first to be notified by the clip of video.
Okay, fine. It appears to be the end of the video. All right. Funny stuff, man. And I'll tell this story right now. Last time I was in Mexico, we took a bus out to a small town, and there was this American family on the bus. And then all of a sudden, the father goes up to the driver and he demands the bus stops. He starts yelling at him, angry. I think he mentioned something about how could the driver not speak English, or maybe they just couldn't understand him and they weren't patient or tolerant with him. But yeah, the whole family screaming at this bus driver, a Mexican bus driver. And I believe they were angry because they got on the wrong bus, I think. So it was entirely their fault. And I kid you not, they were wearing like NFL football jerseys. I don't know what team it was. And they also had like Southern accents. And they were just so obnoxious and loud. And it was the dad, the mom, a big fat kid, and a big fat girl. And yeah, it was an SNL skit. It's just like, yeah, All right.